I've looked at the Inclusion Scotland website. Last year in May, Ian Duncan Smith lost a battle with 3 disabled people. One unfortunately died, but they won the right to have additional bedrooms. One of them had severely disabled children. But the thing is, Duncan Smith took this from the Court of Appeal up to the Supreme Court, and this was supposed to have been heard in January. And I've looked through the website for cases, current cases at the Supreme Court, but heard nothing. But the thing is, the difference today is, at the moment, that MSPs in the Scottish Parliament know what the situation is in regard to exemptions for people with bedroom tax, such as severely disabled people needing an overnight carer. But unfortunately, in my case, officials, council officials, are carrying out things in an ad hoc way. But the problem is, as Gary said, that they do deduct housing benefit at source, because I've been given 4 different notifications, all different amounts of money, and they're going to carry through with it. And I'm still waiting on word about things from the council. They're going to come and take a statement off me. But the other very important thing is, there's no communication across the council departments. They have known about my situation for over 30 years. I got medically retired from work 22 years ago. They've been quite happy to take money off my pension for council tax every month. And there's many other disabled people in the same position on fixed incomes. And they're stuck. And there's nothing they can actually do about this. But the killer thing is, it's apart from the House of Lords, it's about disabled people gathering together and fighting this actual thing on the exemption for the overnight carer. And this is a crucial issue, that the council has to be tested on this issue. That is the most important thing. It's a caveat that they can't get round, and they're trying to get round it at the moment. Okay. And I'll finish at that.
Well done. Sister there? Yeah.
I just want to say, right, I've never protested anything in my life, right? But this, I'm totally ripping. I mean, I've got a 2-bedroom flat. I've lived in it for 9 years. My nearest family member is 200 miles away up north. I mean, if we all stand together against this, it's going to cost them more to bloody sort it out than what it is for us to all get up and move. We'll be like bloody refugees, man. I'm not joking, it's going to be unbelievable.
Hi, my name's Catherine P. Your house Parkerstay, and I've got a 4-bedroom house which my family have now grown up, and I'm very eager to leave and downsize. I'm all boxed up and ready to go. Every house that I've applied for and been to view is absolutely disgusting, absolutely terrible. And I'm not going to move for a house that's no just long been new kitchen, new bathroom, the things that we waited years for and paid rent for. I've no that long been unemployed, to no fault of my own, and now I'm getting letters every week and phone calls, even late at night phone calls, for a council officer saying, we need to contact you. When I contact the council office, no, they're off sick. That's the last call I got. He's off sick. He's still not got in touch with me, right? So I am wanting to downsize. I'm all boxed up. But what are they going to offer me? I'm not going to move into rubbish accommodation. Not at my age, it's not happening.
I'll bring in Gary, and then we'll go to Roddy.
I'll just kind of be quick. I was actually meant to respond to 2 of the points that were raised in the questions. One was about the discretionary housing benefit. Every local authority is going to administer that differently. In Glasgow, which is obviously my local authority that I work in, they released something saying that in very small cases, people will be getting it indefinitely, but for the majority of cases, it will be temporary. It will be for a number of months while they try and work out to try and get them a move. So, but it'll be different across each local authority. And in answer to the lady who was asking about adapted, people with adapted properties should be getting priority to get that discretionary housing from the council. That's what the guidance. Well, but they are two separate things. The council property that's running the rent isn't the same as a council worker that looks at discretionary housing payment forms. So they're supposed to be prioritising people in adapted properties. Whether that pans out like that, I don't know. And the thing about redefining a bedroom is one of these things where, you know, that is a possible legal challenge, but I know that it's out there and I keep getting asked it constantly. As far as I know, and maybe Roddy could confirm this, it's what you signed on your missives. So if you signed a missive 20 years ago and you've turned one of your rooms into a dining room, or you use it for other purposes, it doesn't matter. Your missives say that that's a 2 or 3 bedroom flat. So the thing about redefining a property, I would love it to be able to tell you that that's going to be a definite get-out clause, but I don't hold out much faith. But maybe some solicitor can do something about it.
Wait now, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of good points made about the state of the house you move into. Again, this is a kind of case-by-case basis that we've got to look at that. You know, there's no absolute right necessarily put down there of being able to specify, you know, or give specifications for the type of house. You're thinking, though, if you're kind of moving voluntarily as a means to help the process, then, you know, any house should be of a reasonable standard anyway, but it's kind of what a reasonable standard is going to be what the test is. The help for moving costs, again, that would be through now probably the local authority, because community care grants have been abolished. The Department of Work and Pensions are no longer doing community care grants or crisis loans come the 1st of April. It will be the local authority who are looking at that, and normally help for removal costs would be, you know, through a community care grant or through the social fund. Budgeting loans through the social fund would still be available, and there may be, you know, other organisations that would be willing to kind of help you out with a move as well. I think we've all been caught out. You know, there's a lot of anger against the local authority here. You know, to the extent I can understand that. The local authority, though, speaking to them in Edinburgh, have been caught out as much as everybody else. You know, this has been imposed on local authorities. And, you know, I think that they're kind of adapting policies as they're going along. Because it has come so quickly, and responsibility has just been, you know, dumped onto local authorities in order to cut bills. So, I mean, you know, for most of the questions that were asked there, you know, I would say we have to look at that on an individual basis. We can help you out with these things, but there's no hard and fast answer that we have yet. Like anything else that is brought in, it has to be tested, you know, first. And that's where organisations like Gary and I come in, that we help to test these boundaries of kind of saying, well, how far does this go? You know, what's the extent of this policy, and how can we make it work best for our clients?
Hi everybody, most of you know me, I'm Alice, I live locally. I'm a member of North Edinburgh Fights Back and Women's International Group. Could I just ask a question first by a show of hands? Who here is not affected by the bedroom tax? Thank you very much for all of you for coming out here to support those that are in need. Thank you, I applaud you. Well, I'm one person that is affected through no fault of my own. My sister was meant to be moving in with me, but she can't get her house sold in France. I also moved up here through an exchange to be beside my mother to help support her. She's getting elderly. But it's not a case they don't want to pay. I can't afford to. It's ridiculous. £9 odds a week out of thin air. Removal costs out of thin air. Where the hell are people supposed to find that money? It's just not happening. There's not enough one-bedroom houses to downsize to. So people are going to get evicted if they can't pay and they can't move. Exactly. But if you're moved into a guest house or you know, a bed and breakfast or whatever, it's going to cost more. So I would propose, I would never suggest to anybody not to pay, because the housing authorities and the council need money to build the one-bedroom apartments. So that's where we need to push it, to make them build more one-bedroom apartments in order for everybody to downsize. It makes sense, it's common sense. But if you're not able to move, if there's no one-bedroom apartments to move to, that's no fault of your own, and we shouldn't be penalised for it. And I, for one, will put my money by what I can afford to pay, which is probably your lucky couple of pound a week. I'll put that by, and then I'll pay it if need be, only if need be, because it'll take a while for it to go through the courts. That's all I've got to say. Thanks.
My name's Mike, and I'm involved in North Edinburgh Fights Back, stay in Muirhouse. I think it's good that Anna said about the poll tax, because I was in Edinburgh at the time of the poll tax, and the government and the council thought they could force us to pay that unfair tax, that they could attack us through the sheriff officers. They thought they could scare us through the sheriff officers threatening to break into our houses. But what happened in all around Edinburgh, folk organised locally, if the sheriff officers were coming, we had a picket outside the house, and it was the sheriff officers that were scared. It was the sheriff officers that were sent packing. I can remember pursuing this sheriff officer down the road, and he said, "Oh, this was a great job I had until you lot came along." So I think we should be saying the same now. I mean, are we really going to let sheriff officers come along and chuck Alice or our friend up the back or any of the rest of us out of our houses? Are we going to let them get away with it? There's no way the council should be doing this. There's no excuse for the council carrying out the Tory Lib Dem government's dirty work. There's already Brighton Council said they're not going to evict anybody. There's already Dundee Council said they're not going to evict anybody for 12 months, which isn't enough, but it's a start. So we shouldn't feel sorry for the Edinburgh Council. If they're going to show the slightest bit of decency, they won't try and evict anybody. But we should be sending a message to them. We're not going to allow them to evict anybody. And I'm going to be affected myself because, like most people, I was given a council house with 2 bedrooms. I wasn't asked if I wanted one with 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom because there's hardly any 1 bedroom ones. And I've been in Fidra Court about 10 years. And I think I'll do the same as what Alice and friend up the back said. I'm not going to pay it because I think it's completely unfair. But I'll try and put the money aside, and if I can, if I absolutely have to. But I don't think I'm going to have to, because I think everybody's going to rally round and we're going to stop the evictions, and I think we can make this unworkable. I think we can win this. And, you know, it's part of a bigger fight, as folk have said, because, like, really, the rich are waging class war on us. They're so arrogant and they're so confident that they think they can grind us down into the dirt. But I think it's about time we rose up and showed them that we can fight for ourselves and we're not going to take it anymore. So.